As part of Fall to Ireland's supports on driving domestic sales, boosting sales with social media, this video will take you through measuring and optimizing your social media campaign for results. There are so many metrics available in digital marketing, and social media is no different. My advice to you is not to get bowled over by the amount of things you can measure, but to get very clear on the key measurements that are going to tell you whether your campaign is working hard to achieve your result. This can be summarized as follows. You're going to have some metrics around your social media organic content. For this, you're really looking at engagement. There's going to be a series of metrics that you're going to track on your paid social activity. And it's very important to track these because you're going to be spending money here. And finally, it's really important to see how all of this activity is impacting on your website, your landing page, and the bottom line in the form of sales and results. So keep an eye on the data at all stages. If something is doing really well, go deep and discover what is working for you and tweak your content and your strategy to bring more of the thing that's working on. And likewise, if you put something out and it doesn't do very well, think about that, look at the metrics and decide how you can change it and improve it going forward. So let's look at each one of these in turn. What do you need to track in your social media organic content? Organic content is the content that you put out where you're not paying to promote it. The regular content you put out on your Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram feed. Well, likes and reactions are the measures of engagement with your content. But I tell you, comments are the true measure of your performance. It's very easy to just click like and move on in a feed. But if somebody takes the time to write a comment on your post, you know you've moved them in some way. Now, negative comments are a completely other thing, but positive comments are what we're looking to achieve and what we're hoping to track. Now, what I would say is that there has been a reduction in the number of shares recently, as evidenced by this research, which was carried out in April 2020 by We Are Social and Hootsuite. As you can see here, out of 33 actions the average user took, only one of them was to share content. So the days of tracking shares on your Facebook posts, I'm afraid, are kind of over, except for this small period that we're going through at the moment. And this is evidenced here and here, where, for example, Bay Sports posted on Facebook about reopening again, and they got lots of people sharing the content. And that's because we're living in a time where people are delighted to see that your business is coming back and they're sharing. But my point to you is to really focus on comments. And if you're running a competition on your social media, for example, be asking them to comment to drive the engagement as opposed to share. Okay? So we're agreed that we're going to be tracking comments as a measure of social media success. The value of comments can mean very different things when expressed as a percentage of the total number of followers. For example, if you got 10 comments on a post, you'll be delighted and you'll be clapping yourself on the back. But 10 comments on a post from an audience of 300 equates to a 3% engagement rate. That's really good. 10 comments from a following of 1,300, for example, would come out to be a 0.7% engagement rate, which isn't so hot. So when you're looking at comments, express them as a percentage of the total number of followers. And this is your engagement rate. And this is a really good stat for you to measure to keep an eye on your organic social media content. Now, engagement rate levels that are good would be anything over about 1.5%. Believe it or not, 1.5% to 3.5% is deemed to be good. Over 3.5% up to 6% is really good. And anything over 6%, you are a social media star. So it's quite important if you're reviewing potential influencers to engage with as part of your campaign to do a little bit of research and check out what their engagement rate is like. There's a great free tool that you can use to do this, and it's called Flanks, the engagement rate calculator. Now, on the free version, it allows you to do 3 searches a day, but that's enough for our purposes. Drop in the name of the local celebrity or influencer you're thinking of working with, and it will show you what is the engagement rate on their Instagram content. And this is a really, really good number to have because a lot of times people get bowled over looking at the total number of followers that influencers have, when actually you're better off working with someone who might have a smaller audience but a higher engagement rate. So, if you're analysing influencers, and let's face it, it's a potential investment to work with influencers, you might want to look and see what their engagement rates are like. If they have a low engagement rate but a huge number of followers, this could tell you that they may have bought followers, in which case you're paying for their audience, but it's not a real audience. It's an audience of dormant accounts, and you don't want to work with those individuals. Similarly, go and check and see if all of the comments that they have got on their recent posts are all from the same accounts. Because if this is the case, they could be coming from an Instagram engagement pod. This is a dastardly practice that some influencers engage in, where they get together with groups of like minded individuals and they all agree to comment on each other's posts in order to drive engagement. Again, it's not real and it's definitely not something you want to be investing your money in. So keep an eye on engagement rates, your own and influencers, if you're going to go down that route. A question I'm often asked is, why are our engagement rates so low? And this often happens when people are really trying hard and posting content and they're just not getting the results. And there's several reasons why your engagement rate might be low. The first one is that your audience might have left the platform that you're engaging on. Okay, so a lot of people have left Facebook over to Instagram, particularly at the 20 to 30 something age group. So if you are posting the same kind of content on Facebook, but your engagement rate is dropping, a good idea for you would be to give Instagram a go. And there's a very good corresponding video for this series, which is all about Instagram and will help you get set up and practicing on that great platform. Another reason why your engagement rate might be low is because your content just simply isn't engaging. When you're posting, are you asking a question? Are you using polls and surveys? Are you tagging people? Or are you guilty of just posting boring product shots and offers? Let's face it, no one wants to be sold to on social media. So simply posting a diet of offers is not going to be enough to resonate with your audience. They're not going to comment, they're not going to like, and you're not going to have a high engagement rate. Another reason why you might be getting a low engagement rate is because you're posting too often. Give yourself a break. You only need to post once a day on Facebook and 1 or 2 times a week on the Instagram grid. So reduce your number of posts and hopefully your engagement rate will go up. Another reason why you might have a low engagement rate is because you're not using tagging and hashtagging correctly. When used well, both of these will enable your content to get found beyond your existing network. We have a great download on this, which is available on the Fáilte Ireland website. A note on stories metrics. Stories are the newest type of content assets that we can promote on social media. There are Instagram stories and there are Facebook stories. Instagram stories report on the last 14 days. So if you want to have a monthly view as to how you're doing, you've got to remember to go in the middle of the month and check what your engagement rate was like. Instagram stories metrics that I suggest you have a look at would be replies, and this is the number of messages that you get responding to your Instagram story. And the great thing is that these go directly into your inbox and they're not public. So you can begin to have a direct conversation with your audience based on how they engage with your Instagram stories content. Impressions shows you the number of times your story has been viewed, and tap forwards shows the number of times that people tapped to reach the next story. It's a good indication of the quality of your content and it's a good one to keep an eye on. But really, you're looking at replies and impressions. On Facebook, if you are using Facebook stories, they report on 28 days and the reporting is different. You get to see the number of unique opens, which is the number of people who opened your story, and again, the engagements, reactions, stickers, interactions, swipe ups, everything is rolled into one. And I think that Facebook have done this because they want to inflate the engagement numbers that people are getting on Facebook stories. Not as many people are using Facebook stories as Instagram stories. Instagram stories are absolutely where it's at. I do understand, however, that if you have spent time and developed a large Facebook following and they are still engaged with you, it can be a good idea to use Facebook stories. Just beware though, you're reporting on 28 days as opposed to Instagram stories, which is reporting on 14. When it comes to paid social, which is your Facebook and Instagram ads, there are more metrics that I suggest you keep an eye on. And the reason for this is because you're spending your money and you want to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. So, depending on the ad objective, you will have different metrics that you're going to track. Looking at the ad objectives I recommend, let's start from the top and let's see which metrics work for each objective. Number 1, video views. This is the cheapest way for you to get someone to eyeball your content. It can cost 1 to 2 cents per video view, so it's a really good way of getting your message out far and wide. Facebook counts 3 seconds as a video view, which is a very short time. So it's good to keep an eye on the 10 seconds views. And this is an indication of people watching your content beyond the first 3 seconds. So in some way, your content is engaging with them that they've decided to continue watching. So keep an eye on total views, 10-second views, and also the average completion rate. This is a percentage of how many people watched your whole video out of all the people who saw it. So it denotes the attention that they've given to your message and also the quality of your video content. Finally, you're going to put in a link on your video, which is probably going to go to your landing page. So your click-through rate is a really important one to watch. And a tip from me is to make sure that you put your call to action at the start of your video around the 3-second mark, because we know that not everyone is going to continue watching. You can put it in again around 10 seconds, and you can put it in again at the very end. Video ads also can get engagement, so you can keep an eye on the kind of the likes and the comments that you receive on them. But overall on video, I'd be looking at total views and 10-second video views. If you recall, I was recommending the conversion objective for the middle funnel content. This would be messaging that you're going to show to people who've already engaged with your videos and the 10-second video views. An average conversion rate for the hospitality sector is about 2.8%. So your conversion rate is a really important one to keep an eye on, as well as your cost per conversion. So how much is it costing you to get these people to click on the link from the ad, follow it over to your landing page and take the action? For example, if you're getting €35 as a conversion cost, are you willing to pay that? If you're in a kind of a high value luxury sale, perhaps yes. If you're selling a low value item, probably not. So it's really important to keep an eye on the cost per conversion and make sure that it's something that's affordable to you and your budget. Again, click-through rate is really important to keep an eye on, and this measures how many people saw the ad, clicked off the ad, and went over to your landing page. You could have a high click-through rate, which denotes that your ad is working really well, well done to you, but you might have a low conversion rate, which would say that there's something going on at the landing page level that isn't enticing them to take the action. So have a little look at your landing page copy to make sure that there's nothing that's letting you down. Another possible reason why you might be getting a high click-through rate from the ad and a low conversion rate is because there's ad friction. In other words, the ad could be gorgeous and designed really well and be speaking to summer 2020, and they come over to your website and the colors might be different or the tone of voice might be a little different and isn't working well. So it's really important that your ad copy and creative exactly matches that which you're using on your landing page. There are multiple types of conversion event and you can determine what these should be. So obviously we're all about the sale, but you might also set up other conversion events such as getting a lead. And this brings me on to the next type of ad objective I was recommending, which is around lead generation. So when you're looking at the third ad objective, which is lead generation, you're obviously going to be tracking the number of leads that you got, but you also want to keep a close eye on the cost per lead. For example, $3.50. Are you willing to pay $3.50 per lead? If so, continue running your campaign. If not, go back and tweak it and set your budgets to make sure that the lead generation isn't going to eat up all of your budget, delivering very highly priced leads. Before we get to the lead, you can also track the number of impressions, which was the number of times that your ad was shown. Now, it's different from reach, which is the number of individuals it was shown to. And you can track the number of link clicks, which is how many people went from the ad to the sign up page. Click-through rate exists again, and that's actually your links divided by your impressions expressed as a percentage. So as you can see, it pays to be really clear on the metrics that you are tracking at every stage of the paid social media funnel. The really good news is that we have a download that you can use that will allow you to allocate your budget to the various different stages and to keep track of how much you're spending on each part of the funnel. You know what you want to track. The next thing is to find out where you're going to source this data from. Here's where you would go to find this information on Facebook. On your page, you click on Insights. There it is. On Instagram, you must be running a business account in order to get insights. Tap the three dots on the top right-hand corner, tap on Insights, and all of your metrics will be there waiting for you. On Twitter, go onto your profile, click on More, go into Analytics, and all your Twitter stats are waiting for you there. Perhaps the most important place of all to keep a track on is your website. And for this, we're going to be looking at Google Analytics. When you're looking at Google Analytics, you'll want to be keeping an eye on how much traffic to the website is coming from social media. And you'll do that by going in here. You can drill down to see which social media channel is driving traffic to your website. And you can go a little deeper to see which channels are driving traffic to your landing page. Use your social ads to reach highly targeted audience that you know will convert. An inquiry might go to an inquiry page, and a sale will come through the offer page, through the checkout, and when they get to that thanks for booking page, your goal is achieved. So this is how to set up a goal on Google Analytics. For more help on creating goals and tracking these goals, I would suggest you watch the video on tracking web performance metrics with Google Analytics, which is available on the Fáilte Ireland website as part of these supports. Your key takeaways on measuring and optimizing your social media campaign results are: keep an eye on the engagement rate for your social media organic content. Be clear on the conversion required and the ad objective used, and make sure you're tracking the specific metrics to the ad objectives. And use Google Analytics to know that your social media activity is driving website traffic and that you're achieving your goals. The template and guidance note to support this video are located here on the Fáilte Ireland website. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found it useful.